I have a story that I like to tell about a man who decided that he wants to buy his wife a 10th anniversary gift, but he didn't have any money. So he went into a jewelry store. He made a computation that he can save from lunch every week $10. So there was 15 weeks to the anniversary. So he was going to save up $150. So he went into a jewelry store and he asked them if they have a layaway plan. And they said yes. He said, well, I want to buy my wife an anniversary present. So they said, how much you want to spend? $150. So they looked at him. Now, for that, you could get Monet. Monet is fake jewelry. So he looked, no, my wife is a real lady. I have to get something real. So he looked at him, $150. Then he said, oh, 1 second. He goes into the vault, and he takes out a very small ruby. And he says, you know, we could put this in a setting for you for $150. So he said, fine. Every week, he comes in with his $10 in a brown lunch bag. By the end of the 15 weeks, everybody fell in love with him. I mean, they mamish fell in love with this man. And they put it in a velvet box with a big bow on it, and they're all wishing him happy anniversary. He comes home. The way his wife reacts to this gift will make a difference if he's going to ever miss meals for her again. If when he comes home and she opens it up, she says, where did you get this, in a Cracker Jacks box? It's not likely that he'll miss any more meals for her. But if she goes, ooh, ah, wow, what'd you do, rob a bank? And she said, thank you, then he's going to be motivated to do more things for her in the future. So therefore, now, as we come to the end of this long and exciting evening, it's time to say thank you. In behalf of my very good friend, Yossi Tov, and my other co-host, Elchanan and Lipa, first of all, we want to thank our founder, our leader, Harav Chaim, and his wife, Ketsia Mintz, for being there for Oorah in every way, for dedicating their lives and souls to Oorah. We want to wish you that you should live to greet the Mashiach Tzidkenu and guide us until then in your beautiful ways, in your Torah ways, in your Midas ways, for all of us. We'd also like to thank the man who took Oorah to the next level. I mean, who made Oorah, you know, Rav Mintz, Oorah was on the map in Staten Island, in Lakewood, in Canada. But the man who took Oorah to a global vision, and that's Harav Chaim's son, Rabbi Eliyahu. I remember him as Yahu, Rabbi Eliyahu, and Gitti Mintz. Thank you so much for everything that Oorah stands for. We'd also like to thank the overall coordinator of Oorah, the mastermind, Usher Moskowitz. Thank you very, very, very much. The whole night he's been giving me looks, but I know he does it l'shem shemayim and to move things along. I'd also like to thank Rav Yeshua Weinstein and his wife Shana Bela. Usher, what's your wife's name? Usher and his wife Esther, Rav Yeshua and Shana Bela Weinstein. Rav Yeshua Weinstein, who moves Oorah on and is involved in so many of the Ruchnias projects. Thank you very, very much. We'd like to thank Mrs. Fagi Gewurtz, who's the head of the manager of the marketing department, who many times I get the chance to speak to on the phone whenever there's a need. She calls me up and tells me to speak on the radio and coordinates things. Anybody know her husband's name? So Aaron and Fagi Gewurtz, thank you very much for all that you do. This Chinese auction would not be possible without the dedicators that dedicated the 46 prizes, so we want to thank you. This Chinese auction would be nowhere if not for the men and women, Koilo Jungeleit, the wives and husbands that sat for hours on hours in manning the phones and taking the thousands of phone calls. To all of you, you should get phone calls of Besuras Taivas for what you do. We'd like to thank the 2,000, let me see, what's that number over there? The 2,888 people that ordered tonight on Oorah. There was only 46 winners that we announced, but believe me, in Shemayim, 2,888 people have scored big with the Rabbeinu Shalom. Besides, that's only a number for tonight. We also have people that have been ordering and calling in for this auction for a long time. We want to thank you all as well. Now, while we're thanking people, what about my co-host Country Yossi and his wife Hadassah? They come here for Shabbos so that he should be able to open up the program at 10 o'clock on the dot. And how many years are we doing this together already? 5 years. You know, Yossi has raised the level of this program. I mean, it's just unbelievable what Yossi has done. Elchanan Schwartz, a.k.a. Fivish. Elchanan, what do we call you before you got married?
Baruch.
Right, remember, they used to tell me, you know, there's this young man over here. He doesn't want to be known on the radio doing these things. It might hurt his shidduchim. But now he broke out in the open. What's your Kala's name? So, Elchanan, now that we can call you by your real name, we want to wish Elchanan and his Kala Chaya that they should be Zeicha to be Baina Bayis Neman, be Yisrael L'Shem U'Leseferes. We also want to thank our co-host Lipa. Lipa, who I think left because he has a concert somewhere else right now. But, you know, Lipa came here tonight, and in his heartzig way, he gave it his all to really add a Simcha Dika dimension to this radiothon. What message can we leave our listeners as we head on to Shavuos? It's such a simple message. Ramintz, when I meet him, I just met him by an early morning bris this past week. Rav Chaim Mintz told me, you know, Rav Moshe, when you get on the radio, tell people, get involved in Kiruv. Get involved. Don't think that you can't do it. Don't think it's not for you. Every Jew could do Kiruv. Somebody in the office, somebody that is a neighbor, somebody that you notice in the street. Stop them. Tell them, maybe you want to put on a yarmulke. Maybe you want to put a child in yeshiva. Of course, this radio program has become incredibly complex. You know what it is to get on in California, in Chicago, the right time. You know what it is to work everything. We are very fortunate to have one of the pros in the industry, ZK, manning the boards. You know, when I call in from the road and I hear ZK's voice answering the phone, I say, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, ZK is here manning the boards. ZK, we wish you that you should be able to get on the radio and maintain the boards when Mashiach Tzidkenu comes, b'mehera v'yameinu.
We want